take up study of Lagrangian points in the restricted three-body problem with oblateness of more massive primary. So this is the one where after once Professor Denby asked me to revise the thesis, then this work was revised, and the revised version I will today present. So we'll take up today Professor Zabe, because the book, his book Theory of Orbits, that was the, you can say for me, like a Bhagavad Gita or Bible or whatever you call. So it was the one which gave new knowledge and new research which I could conduct. We could conduct at Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. So let us remember Professor Victor G. Zabe is called Zabe. Earlier we used to call him Zabeli, but then once Professor Bhatnagar met him, and then he said his name is Zabe. So now we'll call it Zabe. Professor Victor G. Zabe, August 21, 1921 to September 30, 1977, was a key figure in the development and success of Apollo program of USA. In 1956, a dimensionless number used in time-dependent unsteady flow was named Zabe number. In the September and October 1977 issues of the journal Celestial Mechanics, volume 16, an equation used to determine the gravitational potential of Earth, planets, satellites, and galaxies was named Zabe equation. So this is the kind of, you see, the recognition his work was provided. He worked with General Electric, Yale University, the Royal Netherlands Navy, the United States Air Force, NASA, and the University of Texas at Austin. One of his areas of research was orbital debris and planetary defense against meteor impacts. His first book, The Theory of Orbits, is an important work in orbital mechanics, being the definite text on the restricted three-body problem as applicable to an Earth-Moon spacecraft system such as Apollo. He was knighted by Queen Juliana of the Netherlands in 1957. Zabe was born in Budapest, Hungary. His father was an engineer, and he started to study in that field but switched later to physics. In 1944, he graduated as an engineer from the Budapest University of Technology and Economics. Because of the threatening communist takeover, he went to the United States in 1947 and became a naturalized citizen in 1956. Zabe authored Hydrodynamics of Slamming Ships. Many of us may not be knowing that he was an expert in that area also. In 1952, and co-authored Ship Slamming in Had Seas in 1955. He was the author of several books. In 1978, he received a very first Dirk Brouwer Award from the Dynamical Astronomy Division of the American Astronomical Society. Zabe began his work on the US space program as a manager of space mechanics at the General Electric Missiles Space Division in 1957. For the next 6 years, he worked on a number of programs of importance to the US space exploration effort. It was here he began to apply the methods of treating the three-body problem he had developed as part of his thesis work to the problem of going to the moon. In 1963, he moved to Yale University as Associate Professor of Astronomy, and he continued his work and the application of the restricted three-body problem to the Apollo missions in the group headed by Dirk Brouwer. He served the Yale University until 1968. Here only he wrote the book Theory of Orbits. And when he has come to India and met Professor Bhatnagar, and then he has visited us in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, Trivandrum, and he delivered a lecture also there. He was there two days. and he came basically to conduct a workshop, international workshop, either in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, or he said either you can do at Texas also in US, or you can do it at Delhi University. One of the places he offered the Texas also. And finally, because of the security problems for so many foreigners coming, so Vikram Sarabhai Space Center was not selected, and then Delhi University was selected. And that I told you in one of the my lectures, that the photo also I showed you. So then he moved to the Texas to assume a position as professor in the Department of Aerospace Engineering and Engineering Mechanics at the University of Texas at Austin. In 1983, he was appointed to the R.B. Kurian Centenary Chair in Engineering. In Austin, Zabé continued his work on celestial mechanics, which involved the development of methods to navigate a spacecraft to the moon and to other planets in the solar system. In doing this work, he developed relationship with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and Lyndon B. Johnson Space Center, which had missions of developing and operating a spacecraft for planetary exploration and developing a spacecraft to carry people respectively. He made important contributions to the development of both of these institutions. He wrote very fundamental papers. I remember with the VR bond, he wrote a very fundamental paper, and with some more scientists there, he has contributed very significantly there. In addition to his technical and scientific work, Zabé also held significant leadership positions in the university. The most important of these was his service as chairman of the Department of Aerospace Engineering and Engineering Mechanics from 1977 to 1981. Zabé was a widely known and respected consultant. Among other organizations with which he worked were the US Air Force Space Command, the University of California's Lawrence Berkeley Laboratory, and the Institute of Defense Analysis in Washington, D.C. He was also a member of a number of professional and honorary societies. Zabé was a fellow of both the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics and the American Association for the Advancement of Science. He was also a member of the American Astronomical Association. Zabé also served as president of the Commission on Celestial Mechanics of the International Astronomical Union. He was a member of the European Academy of Arts, Science and Literature, and in 1982 he was elected to the US National Academy of Engineering. In 1991, Zabé was awarded an honorary Doctor of Science degree by Eötvös University of Budapest. A few months before his death, in September 1997, he received an award for his work in mathematical physics from the Accademia Nazionale dei Lincei in Rome. Zabé was a prolific contributor to professional journals with about 200 articles to his credit. He also wrote or edited 18 books. Among these was a definitive treatise on the three-body problem, which I told you earlier, the theory of orbits, the restricted problem of three bodies. It was published by Academic Press, New York, London, 1997. And still, this book is in demand, and it's very expensive now. Because when I was a student, I purchased it for $25, and the dollar was only, I think, only 4 or 5 or 6 rupees, only 5 rupees, I think. So very cheap book. At that time I purchased in 1971 or so, 71. He also, 71, I purchased beginning of 70. He also published a textbook on celestial mechanics, Adventures in Celestial Mechanics, University of Texas Press, 1989. In 1994, Zabé decided that a second edition of the book might be appropriate. A wonderful book, for youngsters. It is available freely, on internet. A PDF book. This is a very good book, which people can enjoy reading it, and some of the very fundamentals written. I taught you, that Lambert theorem from this book only. The book this year written. So only trigonometry functions he used there, and then he brought that proof. In second edition of Adventures in Celestial Mechanics was published in February 1998. Unfortunately, Zave never lived to see the publication of this work. Zave died at his home in Austin on November 13, 1997. Zave was unique in his deep understanding of celestial mechanics and in his ability to apply this knowledge to the solution of practical problems. He did not hesitate to tackle the toughest scientific question in his field, the problem of three bodies. He had the intellectual courage to take on the hardest challenges and the intellectual power to make critical contributions of lasting value. In addition to being a man of intellect, Zave was also a man of goodwill who was respected and honored by all who knew him. He was a great man whose influence was widespread throughout the world. Now I come back to the work which I like to present. This is the first paper after the revision. When I did my revision, after Denby said, your mean motion is not okay, one is not sufficient, you have to add the secular effect of oblateness. So when we added, then this was the first paper we sent. Even then, before that, both the primaries oblate is spheroid. Then we accepted that paper, but then when he was going through my thesis, he found that that is not the thing here. You must be taken into account. So this was, you see, Google Scholar citation 118 times it has been cited. Stationary solutions and their characteristic exponents in the restricted three-body problem when the more massive primary and oblate is spheroid. So this more massive, earlier the bigger word was going on, but then more massive was suggested by Denby. He says it's not the big, it is the mass which plays a role there. So that's how the more massive primary started coming there. So this paper we will just look into. So anyway, this is all general introduction. So we had essentially we have used McKeskey book. The McKeskey was available luckily in Vikram Sarabhai space, because I joined in 1973, June 1973, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, after working as a full-time research scholar under Dr. K.B. Bhatnagar for two years and 9 months. And then he only advised me that you join there and balance work can be completed. So this is here, this book we used to add that mean motion. So you can see that mean motion is added according to the distance between the primaries. Experiences no variation is taken equal to unity. The sum of masses of the primary is unity. The unit of time is so chosen to make the unperturbed mean motion n0 and the gravitational constant unity. The perturbed mean motion however is constant and is greater than n0. So that is how this the derivation is a small derivation which I have put in my thesis. So here in the book, in this paper, we just wrote in terms of words only. So it is written there in an earlier report, the authors studied the problem of the case of collinear equilibrium, and both primaries are oblates, right? Neglecting the effect of oblateness of the motion of primaries themselves. It might be pointed out that recently Vidyakin, this Vidyakin paper was suggested by Professor Henner, not Hennen in France, when my colleague and boss Dr. Subbarao, he has visited for few months to France on government deputation to study the problem in a general way, considering also the higher order. Then we somehow with great difficulty we got it, and we got it translated. It is a Russian paper and got it translated. It's a complicated paper, not very easy to this thing make out, but they don't write like we are writing in so simple languages and simple equations. They have everything complicated. So, but then our results, results arrived here are concerned stability are in agreement with Vidyakin that we have said. So these are the equations of motion. So the n adds over here, and then this is the mean motion, the n square. So this is the term which was added. I am taking the non-dimensional parameters 3a1 by 2, and a1 is equal to the equatorial radius square minus polar radius square divided by 5, and r is the distance between the primaries. That is how this came, and this was anyway available in the McKeskey book. So that's how the work started, and this work has been anyway over the years It has been this expression has been utilized in so many. So I think there are so many papers which have used this. So then anyway, these are all now. This looks for most of you it will look very simple, because you have many of you have done very complicated problems. So this is those del omega by del x and that del omega by del y equal to 0. These are the two equations, and we need to solve them for the finding the equilibrium points. So 3 are the collinear points and 2 are the triangular points. So equilateral triangular point changes to the triangular point. It doesn't remain the equilateral triangle. So these are all then we located this 7th degree, because we converted that both the primaries we did not take, and then we said you take one primary sufficient and then carry out the work, because in my periodic orbits, as you saw last lecture, I had taken only one primary as oblate, even in the beginning also. So there was no necessity of taking both the primaries as oblate spheroid. So we concentrated onto the more massive primary with the oblate spheroid. But work could have been done. It is a little more complicated. It will become 9th degree polynomial. And these are for collinear, and for this you can say still the distance from the more massive primary to the third body is 1 only. The other one is less than, because this is down and A1 is positive, and so this is less than 1. R2 is less than 1. So that is how it becomes an isosceles triangle, because distance between the primary is 1 and one of the thing is 1 and the other one reduces. So it becomes an isosceles triangle, and now they are no more equilateral triangles. So these are then with careful thing, we located that time. That time you see no internet, nothing. So getting books and other things, whatever is there in our Vikram Sarabhai Space Center library, we searched here and there, and then we located these datas. So we selected these things because oblateness. This we selected because this is ours. We are here. So. And then Jupiter has got, the oblateness for Jupiter and Saturn are the maximum. Maximum is the Saturn, then comes the Jupiter. So we selected these bodies. And so that, oblateness is, you can see this Saturn mass, the oblateness coefficient 0.004. Even then the mass parameter is very small. But Titan, you can see both are reasonably good. This also, mass is also with respect to Saturn 0.302. And this is 409. So this is different kind of systems, real systems we identified, and then we did the calculations. And you can see, however, the mu parameter oblate. Now table 1, now other one you can see, can be seen table 2. L2 and L3 get shifted away from the more massive primary. L2 and L3. So you can see here we are taking the more massive primary on the right side. So L2 is in between the primaries, and L1 is to the smaller primary. It will be to the left of the smaller primary, and the L3 will go to the right of the more massive primary. So L2 and L3 get shifted away from the more massive primary, because more massive primary is oblate. So L2 and L3 are going away from the more massive primary once we take the oblateness into account. And these are all the numbers I had to take, because in the paper it was in vertical thing. Then I had to take something I had to do and then put it into horizontally. Little bit they are all scanned and then put into go into the paint, and then from there go into like that, something I did, and then made it into horizontal. So these are the numbers. Anyway, I don't have to look into this. You can have those. This is for record, because these are all notes are being distributed. So you have those people. You will have the full paper with you. You can see here some are increasing. If you take the system, we can see the system where oblateness is more. Oblateness is more for system number 6, Saturn Mimas. So that system, when we see here, system number 6, this is 27, and so you can see the change here. 27. So fourth decimal, there is a change there, here. And here also 0.999 and then 21. So here also there is a change. In this one, there you can see the change here. Sixth system, I am only identifying the system because there is oblateness coefficient is maximum. And here also, here there is very less. L3, there is very little effect. L3 is far, you know. More massive primary also, the distance is also quite far. So L3, the effect was less. So and L1 moves towards it. They move away. See, what we got result was L2 and L3 get shifted away from the more massive primary, and L1 moves towards it with the inclusion of oblateness wave. It is noted that the shift in L1 L2 due to oblateness are of the same order, while in the case of L3 they are negligible. So they are negligible in this case. It is further noted that the shift get reduced with mu and A1. Though the numerical details have not been mentioned here, it is observed that L4, L5 shifts are comparatively more than those at collinear points. So we did not, you know, we are sending to a big journal, celestial mechanics we were sending, so we did not want to give too many tables. Those days, making a figure was also not easy. So we only tables we could manage. So variational equation and characteristics. So these are all the, you know, when you do the study of the stability, you take these are the traditional method. By now, many of you must be knowing. Those who are not knowing, you can read Zave's book, because I learned all these things by reading Zave's book. That's why today I have spent my efforts to dedicate this lecture to Professor Zave, because his book has given me a lot of new ideas in the form of, so this we can write. Only we are taking the linear terms only, the higher order terms we are not taking. And then this is the characteristic equation, and then at collinear points this one omega xx becomes greater than 0, and for complicated problems also the similar analysis continues, unless one is studying the non-linearities. When you study non-linearity, you have to take the higher order terms also. Anyway, we will have a lecture on, because we have done some work on non-linearities also, and one very celebrated paper we have, where we wrote on non-linear stability with oblateness of more massive primary. That paper also I will be discussing. I am going one by one so that there is a continuity maintained. So this is there, n has come over here, and this is less than 0. With little effort, we can prove that all the collinear point, this will be less than 0. This is not a problem because all these things are positive. So they are not, but this one, you know, because we are subtracting something. So from n square. So we have to prove it. We could prove it with the little effort. We could prove it algebraically that at L1, L2, L3, this is less than 0. So that consequently, and omega xy is 0. So consequently, omega x into omega xy is less than 0, which is now also, it is actually become a now so many papers have come. So this has become a very, very traditional. So these are the roots. So these all these symbols are taken from Zabe. So the general solution we can write in this form, and then we can have this given there, and then you can see the equation 7. We can illuminate the real root, because 2 are real roots and 2 are pure imaginary roots. Like this one we can see, which are why I'm not spending time is, but many of you know this. Hence, the collinear equilibria are unstable in general because there are 2 real roots. And real roots, once you write in this equation, then you will get at least one term will continue to grow your function, and that you will not get a periodic function. Periods will mean it will go on increasing. So you don't get periodic orbits if this is one. These are real. And so, but under some particular initial conditions, we can eliminate these real roots, and then the pure imaginary roots will give you equation of an ellipse, and that will have a major axis, eccentricity, semi-major axis we can calculate. where this beta is this. So we have followed this, or except this n has come here, mean motion. Otherwise, the all these uh, the symbols are all, the things are in Zabe's book. That's why Zabe's book plays a very important. Not only me, there are even later people write. Many people. Sometimes somebody may do some change in their symbols, but that is only a notional, you can say. But otherwise, the basic things are still similar. So L1, L2, L3. This is the characteristics roots lambda, and then these are all I have written this for completeness. I don't have to tell you anything much here from this. And these are important because they only give you the periodic solution, but then we needed them for calculating. So we have documented them. At that time, you see, it is done in 75, 76, 75. My thesis came for revision somewhere in, because Dr. Bhatnagar had met with a very serious accident, and my thesis then it took a lot of time for me to know also whether I have to revise, because he was not able to go to the university to read my reports also, which came for revision. So anyway, so I took almost 1 year to revise. I came to know in maybe January, December 75, no, January 75, and January 76 only I submitted 1 year. 1 year it took, because I didn't want to take any risk again. Once your thesis get revised, asked for revision, second time you don't get any chance. Then it is called rejection. Your thesis is rejected. So, but during that period, we did a wonderful work, and because the mean motion now was the correct mean motion, and we could, and most of the work was mostly in this Lagrangian points that was done, and that was all reported in the thesis. This is a part of the thesis only. These all tables are also there. Eccentricities also are the collinear points, and you can see the characteristic lambda s appearing in 14 system reported here, and then L3 decreases, etc. These are there. Eccentricity, I can tell you somewhere eccentricity will be there. The eccentricity of resulting conditional infinitesimal periodic orbits are there. It is noted that with oblateness increases, the eccentricity at points, it increases. The eccentricities increase there. But friends, when I will present after some time, when the new mean motion we have generated, the situation has changed now. All the eccentricities are not increasing. So that is another story which I will tell you after some time. At triangular point L4, L5, we can write this omega xx, omega yy in this form. This f and g, when we did this, this was our contribution, writing in this form. And f and g for different problem can change. This we were very happy to identify these things, and for different problems, when whatever may be your problem, it can be written in this form, f and g, this whole square plus this whole square, written in like this. So this was also a good contribution which we made there, and later on many of the researchers have followed this f and g thing, because f and g helps to write the equations also. You see here this characteristic equation is written, and then this written in simplified form, but one can write in a general form also. And here we take only the pure imaginary roots. When the discriminant d of the is positive, it can be noted that we know this, that when they can become pure imaginary, showing that the triangle, and that condition we can identify when they become pure imaginary, and that will be, again we will discuss that condition also. So that will lead us to a critical mass value. So you have the oblateness with and without. These S4, S5 are there, short periodic and long periodic, and angular frequency in the z direction. That is also because we wanted to see the three-dimensional what happened to z direction, because this is also given in Zabe in the last chapters. He had a three-dimensional thing also, and then we thought, because that was also a result which we thought was worth, and we reported this also in this paper. So eccentricity of long and short periodic orbits also we documented. Although these are all the 14 systems. So if 14 system you take long periodic this, So this is 2, but this is 9G211. So it has slightly increased here. One will increase, one will decrease. Normally that will happen. 8678 and 8660. So these are all decreased here. Without, it has increased here, and this one 811. This has decreased. One will decrease, one will increase. So these are all the things we did, and then there is a case when when you have when d is less than 0, the roots of this can be written in this form, and we can easily see that the, a1 is greater than this, and this is greater than, and it follows that the real part of 2 of the 4 roots are positive and equal, and hence the triangular equilibria in this case are unstable. So this is a general. We have not gone into the depth of that, but this is the condition which comes from their side. However, by suitable selection of initial condition, infinitesimal periodic motion can be achieved. Only when you take linear terms, only that. When d is equal to 0, 2 roots will be equal to the other 2, which will give rise to secular terms in the solution of the variational equation. The equilibria in this case are unstable. Thus, we note that the stability characteristic linear of the equilibria are not changed with the inclusion of the covariance consideration. Now, this is the three-dimensional case. We write the three-dimensional case. Z is also there, and this is your omega. You get this is added for the when you go three-dimensional. The oblateness potential. This also gets added up. N is the same. N does not change, and then this will you get Z component also comes in here. So your R1, R2, Z is added here, and you have a Jacob integral, and then the angular frequency at Z we have calculated at both. This became later a good study later on for us. So here anyway, we at that stage we have computed this and made a observation on that. So singularities, we can calculate the singularities as it is here. And one more thing here we okay there. It can be proved with some effort. See, we from there we even in three-dimensional we have seen that only 5 equilibrium points are in the xy plane. Are in the xy plane located at exactly the same places as in the planar case. It is proved with some effort. We had to do some algebra. There also too only 5 points of liberation are in the xy plane located at exactly same plane. As such, at the equilibria, these are 0 and the variational equations are written. And at the collinear points, we get this relation, and the mean motion in the z direction, Sz, this is this. However, at the triangular point, Sz is equal to the greater than 0, the mean motion of the primary. So this became greater than the mean motion of the primary. So that was the angular frequency as at the 3 collinear points are listed here. And then at L1, L2, Sz is less than the corresponding value of S even after inclusion of oblateness effect, and in fact becomes much closer than the unperturbed case. Sz increases at all points. So this became later a full-fledged work for us. We could find out one-to-one commensurability with oblateness. So that when there is one-to-one commensurability at collinear points, and that can result you in the study of the hollow orbits after the inclusion of oblateness effect. And we have thanked our guide and my guide, and then Professor Denby, because he was the man, but other referee was those days referees names were also given. Now they don't give, but that time names were given for their constructive suggestions. So most of the suggestion came from him also. There was a small suggestions, but major suggestions were from. Actually, the suggestions came from through the thesis itself. So later on, the suggestions were not that much. So, but then it went. But it was a opportunity for me to record his, this thing. But so that this paper has come. These are the ones, as Vidyakin. This was Russian paper. We have the Russian paper, theory of orbits, and this we published already in the celestial mechanics, where both the primaries, but where oblateness, where the mean motion was 1, And data we took from here. These data, these books, I think we utilized for data. And McCaskey book was used for. So these are the only few references. Today, if you publish any paper with few references, that paper will come back and they say you review. But that was the only. We did not have any this thing. So the paper was in that sense quite original. So this is, you see, this was the one where we found out the critical mass, a note on the stability of triangular points of equilibrium energy. And it has been, this is the maximum citation we have got any paper. 130 is already done. And this journal has got a very high impact factor, 5.636. In the all this, our celestial mechanics, I think this is the maximum it gives, unless there may be some other, I do not know. But most of the where we publish, this is the maximum, astronomy and astrophysics. So we sent, though the previous paper was sent earlier, but this got published earlier than that because it took less time. A note on stability of triangular points. So here only we found out the critical value of the mass parameter. So anyway, these are all the equations of motion, and the same F, G, etc. Those things are written, same thing. And then this is the characteristic equation. And then from here, when the discriminant of the quadratic is denoted D, then D is equal to that. This is discriminant D. This discriminant D, and when D is greater than 0, 2 roots in 15 are negative, and hence the 4 roots of this are pure imaginary. This shows that the equilibria are linearly stable. However, this belongs to category of a special case of Lyapunov, in which the stability problem cannot be solved by considering only the first approximation, since it depends on, because what we are doing with this is only, we are doing linear analysis. So we are telling, but when we do nonlinear, we know that there are 3 singularities there between the 0 and this critical mass value, which we have to do only by, that's a very complicated process. That also we have calculated, and I will be presenting that also in subsequently in one of the lectures. So if on the other hand, if D is less than 0, the real 2 characteristic equations, these are okay. But now what I have to see, if D is equal to 0, the case of double roots arise, and so establishes that the equilibrium points are unstable. Now let us go to this critical mass. We know that when the discriminant D of the quadratic equation, and this is 0 if this is equal to 0. And when these are alpha, beta, gamma, there, the solution of this 70 in this in mass parameter between 0 and half, mu critical is this. Okay, and neglecting the higher order, we can take only the A1 terms. Higher order terms we do not take. Then these are the alpha, beta. These alpha, beta values become only this much. And these are all, this is here given, those 2 equations are compared at the 19 and 21. 19 is this, and 21 is this one. 21 is this one. Where we have taken the value, only A1 terms we have taken. So this came, very, very, very excellently. It has come. Has come like this. This has come where mu naught is equal to this half. And when, as I told you, when we have taken the new mean motion, which we claim that it should be done, n square is equal to 1 plus 6a1. This is becoming 19 instead of 13. It is becoming 19 now. So further reduction. So this will become minus 36. Mu 0 minus 36. So further reduction in the value of the critical mass will come. That also I will be presenting gradually. Paper has been now, it is coming, already proof has been sent day before yesterday. Maybe in 1 or 2 days, the paper may be in print. And once it comes there, then I will be distributing to everybody. Is the where mu naught, this is the critical. So this is the value we got, friends. And this work has given us a lot of popularity. Because everybody who does any other problem complicated, finally when they compare their results and they say, okay, with oblateness, this number is matching, their expression is also given. So this has given us a lot of improvement. I mean, lot of advertisement it has given for our work. So this is the mu critical value. Now acknowledgement, we have given acknowledgement to Professor Michael Hennen, another great, Hennen was on periodic orbits. He was a great numerical and mostly numerical periodic orbits for restricted and 3-body, both he did. He was very, very very excellent worker who was. And Dr. Subbarao was able to meet him, as I told you. He was there 6 months on deputation from Government of India to work with our team, space team there. So he discussed with him these results. At that time only these results we were generating, and his criticism, and for bringing, and he only brought this paper to our notice, Vidyakin's paper, that you see this Vidyakin's paper also. Otherwise, this Vidyakin's paper was not, I mean, we were not having any. Well, those days there is no internet, that you just, that now you can see on internet, you can find out. But those days it was not possible. So, and the authors are grateful to Dr. Bhatnagar, and he was our head at that time. At that time, probably we were clubbed. We were clubbed physics. For some time, we were there with physics and applied mathematics division. Our director, Dr. Brahmprakash, thought that applied mathematics division being a small one, if we put them with physics people, he thought with physics people, but of course they are mostly atmospheric physics people. But then there Dr. C.A. Reddy was the head. So we were there for some time there. Again, we came back. It was a long, our entity was, but still today applied mathematics division is there in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. So and I was lucky to be head for a couple of years. So that is how you see the references are only this. McCaskey and Zabe and this, with this paper. That's the only reference we have given. Because this paper says something there. I don't know whether what he says, but now I don't remember. But these are the only references. 2 books and this Russian paper. So no other paper. Now, this is the thing which I want to tell you, Coriolis force. Now, because this is also was there in my thesis, revised thesis. So let me tell you what Zabe did, Professor Zabe. The case of neglected Coriolis force is interesting in spite of its artificiality. I have taken this from his book. The paper, he has published a paper in 1967. The paper I could not download. Somewhere it is there earlier with me, but now I thought from book itself I will take this material. Since because he has taken from the paper and put it in his book, Theory of Orbits. Linear stability property of triangular aberration point changes from stable to unstable when the Coriolis forces are ignored, as noted by Winter. Winter, another great man. So he has noted down that if the Coriolis forces are ignored, then it becomes unstable. To show this, we write the variational equation in the form. He has written variational equation in this form. If alpha is equal to 0, the Coriolis forces are ignored, and if alpha is equal to 1, they are taken fully into consideration. That is the thing. For the present consideration, let alpha be undetermined. The characteristic equation of equation 6, okay, from his book it is coming. So this we know, this equation, this general equation. So alpha has come over here. For me, it comes n square here, mean motion. And then you can write these values. Substituting these values, this capital lambda is equal to lambda square, we get this equation. Now the roots of this equation when alpha is equal to 0 are this. Consequently, all 4 roots of the characteristic equation are real for any value of mass parameter between 0 and half. So the equilateral points become unstable in general in the linear and in the nonlinear sense that he has told, that Winter has told. And more specifically, the linear analysis gives conditional asymptotic stability, but the motion is unstable in the nonlinear sense. One might acquire a deeper insight into the effect of Coriolis term, assuming other values for alpha besides 0 or unity, since only small changes of the value alpha is equal to 1 are of possible physical or relativistic interest. We consider alpha is equal to 1 plus epsilon is added. Neglect the second and higher powers of epsilon and solve the characteristic equation. Here solve the characteristic equation. And the discriminant of this quadratic form is 0 if this is equal to 0. We got this equation from there. The same method. And then by solving the solution for this equation, if epsilon is equal to 0 is this. The corresponding to the case when there is no derivation from the actual Coriolis force, the critical value of mass parameter becomes this. Now you see it has become added. The concern is added. And when I was revising thesis, I was reading it, and myself and Subbarao, we were reading it, and then we found how it became positive. Because with oblateness, we are getting negative. And how he got positive. So we had to spend some time there. We conclude that the Coriolis force terms are slightly larger than classical mechanics requires. The range of values of mass parameter giving linear stability solution increases. You see, this becomes a, that means it has become a Coriolis terms have, it increases the range of the stability. Because now you get solutions, stable solution only up to 0.038, but then if you increase this, it increases. Since the stability, we must have this value. The corollary of this result is the range for which periodic solution of linearized equation exists is increased above the beyond 0.038. That's the result he obtained. Note that the stability characteristics of the collinear points do not change. Fine. When we studied, we found that this is coming from my thesis. Okay, from this PhD thesis, Ramakrishna Sharma, 1976. I submitted in January, resubmitted in January 76, University of Delhi. This is on page, I have partly on 87, half page 87 and half 88. Coriolis force effect on critical mass. We note that a slight increase in the value of Coriolis force from unity to n is equal to say 1 plus epsilon, where second and higher powers of epsilon are neglected. We have followed him. Also decreases the value of critical mass. We have said very strong statement. This result is in contradiction with that of Zave. So in my thesis, this reference is 117. So this is a reference, where he has. I did not write book, but I written the reference, 1967. Because these journals are available in our library also there in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. Astronomical Journal 72, 79, 7 to 9. 3 pages he has written this. As the effect of epsilon, why it happened? As the effect of epsilon in the value of the partial derivatives was not included by him. The problem is he did not, the partial derivatives which we find, that he kept as it is without this effect. And that is why he got this positive. If, however, we include the effect, then the characteristic equation, this becomes this. Where lambda is this, and then these are the values have to become over here. And these are F star, J star, and these values, and then this value becomes this, and then this reduces. This reduces. It is reduced. And this our result, was presented by Professor Bhatnagar in a conference, because I could not go. I had 2 papers. We had 2 papers. This was with Subbarao, and one was with my periodic orbiter first kind. To Cambridge, there was a conference in the University of Cambridge, and he went from Delhi. See, it is easy to go from university than from Space Center. Space Center going is a very difficult thing. Getting funds and all those things are difficult. So I requested that you present our papers. So he presented this, and Zave was there, and Zave said, yes, I had made a mistake there. So he agreed his mistake. So later on, this work has become very, later on, Professor Bhatnagar worked with this by changing both alpha beta. He introduced this alpha beta, and then Hullen got his doctorate, linear and non-linear analysis. And later on, a lot of people have done. But then what we did, because we were making a comment on a very big man. So my boss Subbarao said, Sharma, we will write very, very mildly. That mildly made us only 7 citation. If we had written this letter, if we had written a full-fledged paper, this would have become 100 and more than 100 reference. So friends, my advice is that when you write, if you get a good result, do not waste your result. Every day you cannot get a good result. You see, research is not if somebody, so you get something get published somewhere, and that is also not a result. I mean, don't think that if you are published in a great journal, big journal, your result is great. It is not so. My papers in Royal Society are lying there. So the results, which get recognized, or which are of value, where people, those are more valuable, where people will work on your work. Now my work is in Royal Society is on case variables. Now case variables, first thing is programming those equations itself is a difficult task. It's not very easy. So what happened is, even if somebody wants to do work, then one has to learn a good programming. Otherwise, it's very difficult. My student who did, Harish, he might be there. He because he was with me, so all my programs I gave him, so he could immediately start the work. Whatever I had, so that his progress started. But supposing he has to start afresh and doing all the things, himself, it would have taken a lot of time, because I spent a lot of time, and I was working in a very prestigious center where a lot of experts were there who could help me in programming my equation. 8 equations you are programming, they are symmetric. All those kind of things, were there. So when you get a good result, please, I'm giving you an example. This was a very wonderful result, and we wasted it writing a letter to the editor, and from there you cannot make out also what result we got. It is now, I'll just quickly read it. It is well known, Zabé, that in the restricted three-body problem condition, linear stability of two equidistant points, that the mass parameter mu is less than the critical mass. This is a following Winter remarks. Instability of triangular points is due to existence of Coriolis force in the equations of motion in the synotic system. Zabé considered a small change in epsilon in the Coriolis force from unity and obtained a relation for the critical mass of the mass parameter mu c, and this establishing that Coriolis force is a stabilizing force. He established that it's a stabilizing force. And then perhaps this can be attributed to the fact that the centrifugal effect was left undisturbed therein. See, we wrote only this. Perhaps this can be attributed to the fact that the centrifugal effects are left undisturbed therein. I don't think how many people will understand this language, which is not a self-consistent assumption. Only to us it was, we could only understood. Later on, a person who is studying, he doesn't know what we have done. If, however, this effect is taken into consideration, it may be deduced that mu c is this. We written something. The authors have further noted in the earlier study, which is I showed you, a study pertinent when secondary effects of oblateness are taken into consideration, that if small changes in the Coriolis force are allowed, the critical mass value further decrease, that is with oblateness. See, the authors record there, grateful thanks to Professor Michael Hannon. Actually, Hannon only told, your result is correct. Because that time when you generated, Dr. Subbarao went there and he discussed. He said, you can publish it. But unfortunately, we published it only as a letter to the editor. And also we did not write equations of motion or nothing we wrote here. And that is why this was lost in the ocean of the research. And only 7 out of 7, maybe 4, maybe I have in our work only 2 or 3 references we have got. And where that critical mass thing has got 130. So see, I am sharing all my good, bad, whatever experience I am having 50 years of research experience with me now. I am trying to advise you wherever I can advise for good, not for anything bad. So there, the references were this is anyway our paper, that oblateness thing. This is his book, and this is book also. This I have taken from book only, and this is the paper where is this thing, and this is again Winter has talked about that This book was also available in our library there in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. So there, that we have seen there. So this is how the thing happens. Okay. So let us, if we get any good result, please document it nicely. It is not important that it goes to the best journal. It doesn't go, doesn't matter. But if it should go into proper language, it should be understood by people that what work you have done. Then only they will refer it. If they write like we have written, if you write, then nobody will be able to understand, and then it will not be referred also. Effect of oblateness on triangular. These are all part of my doctoral thesis. In one chapter, see, I had from one chapter, I had six publications, and if you see today's day, their citation, out of that, one is 130 and 117. Those are I have shown you, and there are other papers also. This also I around 22 times. This also was there in that, and then there were some more papers were there in that. Critical mass was also, but that got only 7 times effort. So when now you see this happens when you have at critical mass, what happens? So because I had to complete my thesis, so at that time, and my boss also was not there at that time. He was in France. So then anyway, I told him that I have to complete this. He says, okay, you go ahead, because he was very helpful when I was revising. So these are the equations of motion. These are all. So I will not repeat this, because these are all those things. And see the why those it becomes unstable is because you have equal roots, and when you write, a differential equation, when you have two roots, you will get time there. T will come there, and that T only, one of that T will go on increasing, and then you don't get the periodic solution. So in this we found, we rotate. We know the at L4 L5. The major axis makes an angle alpha with your x axis. So that angle we can find out through this transformation, and equations of motion we can write. And then this solution. Now what happened is, in Zabé's thing, this the solution was easy to get, because when you don't take oblateness. But in this case, the equation became complicated. So then one of my colleague was there, Dr. Shukla. He was expert in Laplace transforms and other things. He was a heat transfer expert. So then he said, I told Dr. Shukla, what shall I do? I am now held up here. He said, this is very easy. Just by seeing, he said, very easy. You use Laplace transform. But unfortunately, Delhi University did not taught us a Laplace transform, because these were taught to physics people. So in our syllabus, this was not there. So Laplace transformation, I said, I don't know. So learn. So I learned Laplace transform, and then found out this solution. This solution is the solution for this. Through Laplace transform, I found out. And then there was no problem. We could, because here also, with the special velocity components, you can eliminate those terms which are giving you those time which is creating problem for you, and you eliminate that. And once we eliminate that, we get a solution for again it comes an elliptical solution, elliptic orbit. This is the elliptic equation of an ellipse. And once you get an equation of an ellipse, you get this. You calculate now. Again, we take over only A1 terms, and don't worry about the higher order terms. Calculate omega x, omega y, and these things. And then because now we have shifted, to that. We have made our x-axis towards the. So only omega x, omega y will come, because we have shifted to our axis by an angle alpha. So only these two we need to get, and we got these roots also. And then we got the orbits and eccentricity. Now we saw the increases with oblateness. So this is no calculation, no numerical was required. Analytically, we are able to see this oblateness has entered here. So without oblateness, this is Zabé has given this number. Zabé book, it is there. So you see, Zabé, all these, I was reading Zabé, understanding, and then putting oblateness, and then trying to do. That is how my thesis came. So you see, that's why Zabé has played a very important role. His book has played a very important role to complete my thesis, and that is why I thought today I must talk dedicate to him. He has done so much great things, in his life. So I also came to know many things today when I started uh, looking for his resume. So here I have given reference my thesis here, and then because paper was published later, but it is there in my thesis. I have this work, and then this is my that paper, first paper, and this is there again, that paper, critical mass, and this is a base book. So these are all the part of the thesis. These three papers, this is thesis, and these two are part of uh, the published paper from the thesis, and this is a book. So this book is the wonderful book. Still, it is wonderful book. People have tried, as I told you, there are two books, Theory of Orbits. Some people have written, but well, uh, this theory of orbits is he has written. When you see at the end of each chapter, he has written comments also. Those are also of great value, great value. So I think my lecture seems to be over.